Hi, I'm Matt Sellhorst, pleasure boat specialist here at Helm Marine Lake Wylie. Thanks for stopping by to check out this video. This is my wife Sarah, my little girl Avery, and this is our dog. With the construction of a pontoon, it's so important. There's a lot of things you just can't see that make a huge difference in the longevity and the comfort you'll experience on the boat. With Harris, the engine mounts that they use are designed to limit vibration that's transferred through the boat. You'll notice how sturdy this engine mount is. All the welds are nice and thick. You've got a nice thick piece of your aluminum to support that big heavy structure and all the force that's coming from the outboard engine. Because of that, if you look how deep that engine well is, it's reducing the vibration that's transferred into the boat, which makes it more comfortable and enjoyable for you when you're out on a long cruise. You don't have that vibration transferred up through the furniture because this engine mount is designed to reduce that vibration a considerable amount. You also have the Mercury 4-stroke engines, which are much more smooth running than they ever have been before. The technology's really come around, and those 4-stroke engines we'll talk about in a little bit are very efficient and very quiet and smooth running. The rub rail construction, Harris does different than most other manufacturers out there. You'll notice the rub rail on the corner is capped all the way around. You've got, this is a single piece from here all the way to here, and it's that way on all 4 corners of the boats. Some manufacturers will actually just joint their corner and then cap it off with a piece of stainless steel if it's a good manufacturer, plastic if it's a cheap manufacturer. The reason Harris goes to the trouble to do it this way is when you hit into a dock or another boat, you got a full piece to absorb that, that damage, and it's really going to minimize it. What happens on the corner cap boats is the first time you hit, that cap gets a little bit cockeyed. The next time you hit it, it gets even more, and that cap is prone to fall off. The most important piece of the pontoon construction is stuff that most people barely even notice or look at. This structure here, you've got the pontoon, you've got the brackets that are welded to the pontoon, there's bracing attached to the brackets, and then you put your plywood on top of those bracings. Well, what a lot of manufacturers do is they use individual pieces that they weld to the pontoon and then they mount to the brackets. What Harris does is they actually have a patented M bracket. You see it right here. It's kind of shaped like this right here, and you can see this is one solid piece. This is just one little finish piece, but it's a solid bracket from here all the way up, if you can see that. What that allows is that one singular piece that's welded gives you a lot more structural support so you don't get that twisting and turning as you're hitting rough water, especially with the bigger horsepower they're putting on the pontoons now. And you'll notice you have one here and you have one here. So on a tri-tune pontoon like this one, you actually have 6 of these full-length M brackets, and you can see it on that middle tune as well if you can look up in there. Why that's important is the long-term structure of the boat. Those M brackets are going to make that deck flex a lot less. It's going to be a lot more rigid, so that 10 years down the line, that furniture hasn't warped and started to come loose and pull the screws out because of this patented M bracket. Now, you've got to be cautious because some manufacturers will use the space brackets and they'll put a finish piece to hide that fact. It looks nice, but they also hide the fact that they're cutting corners in the construction process that Harris has been doing for over 55 years. The Mercury 4-strokes are what we're putting on all these Harris pontoons. There's several reasons why. Mercury has a huge market share in the outboard market. They're also owned by the same company that owns Harris, Brunswick Corporation. They own Harris, Sea Ray, Boston Whaler, and Mercury and Mercruiser. So these boats are designed to take strictly Mercury outboards, which means that all the wiring harnesses, everything at the helm is designed for this boat from the construction, the initial phase, all the way to the build phase, and they're designed to fit just right. But the other thing is, Mercury, you're always going to be able to find a technician to work on your Mercury. Doesn't matter where you are, here on Lake Wylie, out at the coast, or anywhere across the US, you're always going to be able to find parts and a technician. With that said, these Mercury outboards are extremely efficient and very low in maintenance. You don't have to winterize them. All you have to do is change your oil and keep gassing them essentially. There's a few other minor maintenance items that come down the line, but those fluid changes and keeping gas in the boat is really the most important piece of the maintenance process. Everything else is just turn the key and go. the construction of the boat, the nose cone is extremely important. You'll notice how long the nose cone is that Harris uses. It's actually a 5-foot long nose cone that comes all the way down, and you'll see the splash guard is the full length of that nose cone that splashes the water down, keeps you drier on a rough, windy day. But the other thing that long nose cone does is it allows you to knife through the rough water versus some of the other manufacturers that do a shorter nose cone that don't give you that same slice, and it chugs through the water a little bit more, giving Harris the better performance that you'll feel out on the water. Another thing that they do is all throughout the boat, they don't have any rough edges. It's inevitable that the kids are going to swim around the pontoon and grab onto anything that's near them, and this allows you to not have any rough edges, so you will never cut your finger with the way that Harris does it. They also reinforce that nose cone. It's an extruded aluminum, which means that they're not bending it to get it in place. They actually put that aluminum together, weld it, and then they also, if you'll notice right here, they weld a second piece on top. So it's welded, and then it's covered with another piece that's welded to make this structure even stronger. So when you pull up onto the beach, if you hit something, obstruction in the water, you've got more strength there to make that pontoon nice and sturdy. Another thing that they do with their tri-toons, in addition to have the compartmentalized chambers in the tubes, the nice narrow nose cone, is you also have the center tube is sunk down about an inch, inch and a half. You can see the little spacer here. What that allows is the pontoon in turns, it allows to actually get just a little bit of a bank and make a sharper turn than a lot of other manufacturers. It's a small little thing, and the way Harris does it gives you still great top end performance, but also fantastic handling when you're out at speed, as well as when you're out at the dock, because you'll notice that tune is also set forward a little bit more. So it gives you just a little bit of an offset to make those turns a little sharper at slow speeds as well. When it comes to the flooring on the Harris float boat pontoons, they do it different than a lot of other manufacturers. There's one step that is unique to Harris, and I believe it's a better way to build a pontoon. First thing is you have 7-layer marine grade plywood. They actually tongue and groove the plywood together so that that joint is even stronger as they lay the sheets across for the decking. Then they treat it with a 4-step sealer system for the waterproofing. They treat it around all of the edges. They put a seal coat on the top before they layer the carpet. On that tongue and groove, they seal that, and then they also use another strip of sealer on the bracing that they attach the plywood to. This is where the unique part comes in. Harris uses what they call tech screws when they affix the flooring to the bracing on the pontoon. So if you picture that bracing and the plywood sitting above it, they actually use a high-speed drill to drill that screw directly through the plywood into the bracing of the boat. They don't drill it out first. That high-speed tech screw actually goes through the bracing and forms a weld. On a typical pontoon, you're talking a couple hundred of these tech screws on both sides of the seam. So you've got a screw on this side and a screw on this side at that tongue and groove joint, and it makes it a stronger bond. What other manufacturers do is they actually drill out from the plywood in through the bracing, and then they put a nut and a bolt through that hole. Well, what happens over time is there's just a little bit of shake in that nut and bolt. It can loosen up over time. The good manufacturers use a strong, heavy-duty stainless steel nut and bolt system with a nylon thread. The cheaper manufacturers just use a nut and a bolt, and they can easily come off. But Harris has found in 55 years plus of building pontoons that tech screw design, they've never had a warranty claim on that tech screw, and it allows them to offer a limited lifetime warranty on the decking, the bracing, the pontoons, the fence rail, and the fencing, all for manufacturer defect, because in 55 years of production, they've really zeroed in on how to build a strong for a lifetime pontoon. When Harris builds their fence rails, you'll notice they put the rails on the outside and the fencing material actually on the inside. They do that for a couple of reasons. One is, as you're coming into the dock, you're not going to hit the side of the dock or another boat. It's going to hit the rails first before it dents your fencing. That keeps it looking better for the long term. You also will notice a little bit of a rib texture area in there. It does hide the dents. If an anchor pops into it or a ski gets popped up against and gives a little dent, it'll hide that better for you. But one thing that I think is really important is because they put the fence rail on the inside, or the fencing on the inside of this fence rail, is you have a nice tight fit right here with your furniture. There's nowhere for critters to get in there and to get up on your boat and hide. And when you pull back the covers the first time, especially if you live on the lake, you'll find something that you really don't want to find on your boat. The bimini system on the Harris is nice and simple. You undo the boot, you pull the arm straight out, it'll come down, take a little pressure off that top, and it's just going to slide on and click, and you're ready to go. Because of the structural support, and if you see how heavy duty this bimini rail is and how tight that bimini top is, when you're cruising down the lake 40 miles an hour plus on some of these pontoons, you don't hear that rattling and shaking like you do on a lot of other manufacturers. Nice and sturdy, nice and quiet as well when you're cruising down the water, and gives you a good bit of shade. You see many manufacturers offer a raised helm option, and Harris does it as well. What they do is they lift up a portion here at the helm a couple of inches to get the driver up higher over that head laying down in those comfortable lounge chairs. What we do here at Hall Marine is we actually order some of our premium boats with the flip-up bolster. You accomplish the same thing by getting up high over in a nice comfortable seat, but what you eliminate is that toe stubber that raised helm becomes. Everybody's out in their bare feet and the kids are moving around. That traffic pattern comes right by the raised helm, and inevitably a toe gets bumped on that, and it really is annoying. So what we've done, the Halls have been in the boat business for 30 plus years, and they've realized that this is a better solution to that problem. Avoids the toe stubber, but still gets you high up over that head, lounged out in front of you in the pontoons. One patented system that Harris also offers is this quick release system for the fenders. It's as easy as pushing the lever and pulling it out. When you want to deploy the fenders, you press them right in and you're ready to go. There's never a good place to tie up a fender on a pontoon, it seems, but this quick release system is simple and easy to use, and it also looks great. You don't have old nasty lines hanging off your pontoons after a couple of months. There are a lot of safety features on the Harris pontoons. One that I love, I've got a little girl that's just about 2 years old, is this full-length stop. You'll see so many manufacturers just do a little cap down at the bottom to hold the door. The reason I like it is when that door's shut, you've got that full stop, so that when the kids are leaning over and they're looking at the ducks or looking at the fish, or even a guest is helping with the dock lines coming in, is that's going to hold nice and sturdy. Another thing that they do on these gate stops is you see this little rubber piece. It's a tiny, tiny little thing, but what happens is you put that stop in, it goes down, and when you're out cruising or you're just sitting floating at anchor, this door isn't going to be banging shut and open as the wave rocks the boat. It's going to hold it nice and sturdy. Let me show you how strong this gate stop is and why I love it with my little girl. This is something that will hold up to 400 pounds, and I'm 230 plus pounds myself, but you can see the force as I'm leaning up against that. That isn't going to budge. It's going to hold nice and sturdy. I wouldn't dare do that on any other pontoon because of their cheap little corner cap that they use to hold that gate in place. An area where Harris really excels is their upholstery. The Harris float boats, they have a 5-year warranty on the upholstery, and the reason they're able to do that is they actually use a prefix fabric protector on their marine grade upholstery. It's a nice heavy and thick. They actually build that prefix material into the fabric in the manufacturing process, so that it's not just sprayed on the top like a Scotch Guard. It's actually built into the fabric and allows it to stay on even after you clean the upholstery many, many times. Another thing that Harris does that I really like is all of their upholstery is nice and flat. You don't see any little pleats. You don't see a lot of extra details that are going to make it hard to clean. Some manufacturers have some really sharp looking pleating on their boat and the upholstery, and it looks great on the showroom floor, but practically speaking in the boating world, we all know what happens is those little cracks and crevices don't get cleaned out all the way. They stay a little bit damp, and the mold and mildew take hold. Once the mold and mildew take hold, it's really, really difficult to get it to stop, especially when you have little pleats and folds in the details of your upholstery. Harris has taken a different approach. They said, hey, we're gonna make a sharp looking upholstery, use some different textures and colors, but we're gonna keep it nice and flat, easy to clean, easy to maintain, so that 10, 15, 20 years down the line, this upholstery is still looking great and it's not all eaten up and attacked by mildew and mold. If you look at the sturdy stitching that Harris uses, you'll notice they've got a nice double stitch, so it's gonna hold together for the long haul. Some manufacturers just stitch it together and they easily pull apart. If you look at the detailed stitching, you'll see that it's double stitch, gets a nice little accent, but it also is there to make that stitch and that seam a lot stronger, so that 2 years down the line, you don't have it pulling apart. It's gonna be nice and sturdy for the long haul and the life of the boat. Couple things about the seats on these Harris float boats. We talked about the upholstery and the stitching. I want to look at the actual structure of the seat. You'll notice this nice big heavy solid hinge that's in there. It's going to keep that seat base nice and sturdy for the long haul. You also have a plastic base here, which allows that water to flow through, and it's not going to rot. If it was wood, you would have that problem. This is a plastic piece. You also have a rotocast plastic base, the actual structure of the furniture, and the way that the bottom is built and the brackets are done on this boat, and this nice heavy-duty sturdy seat base, is this furniture is going to hold up for the lifetime of the boat. The other thing about the seats that you want to look at is how thick this foam is. It's a porous foam that's going to allow the water to seep through and drain out, so it keeps your seat from holding water and starting the mold and mildew growth. But the other thing is, if you look how wide these seats are, they're nice and comfortable, and because of the design of that hinge, when you relax and you sit back on your seat base, it's not going to flip up. Some other manufacturers out there, when you sit on the edge of the seat, they're going to flip up on you like that, and you notice I really got to work to make it happen on this Harris. I'm a big guy at 230 plus pounds, and lounging out, kicking back on a Saturday afternoon with a cocktail, is that seat base is going to stay right where it needs to be. We've talked about the construction, the limited vibration that the M brackets and the way they build the floor. We talked about the heavy-duty construction of the seat bases and the upholstery, and all that's fantastic when you talk about durability. But what really matters is the comfort. Kicking back, cruising down the lake at 20 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour with a cold drink in your hand, this seat is one of the best in the house. You've got a nice, comfortable backrest. It just sucks you in. It's a nice wide base. I'm 6'2", and you can see the length I have. I've got plenty of room to stretch out, lay my head back, and just enjoy the breeze and the coolness of being out on the water, relaxing with your friends and family. And that's where Harris and being a boater really comes in and really makes an impact on your lifestyle. Make your next boat purchase. I'm the only pleasure boat specialist in the country with a no sales pressure guarantee. What that means to you is you can come in, check out any of our new and pre-owned deck boats, cruisers, pontoons, or yachts without a high-pressure salesperson, fast-talking salesperson breathing down your neck. I'm going to talk boats with you, help you direct you to the right one, provide you any answers to the questions that are important to you, and then give you the space to make the decision if that's the right boat for you and your family. I offer several consumer boating reports. The most popular is the Official Boat Buyer's Guide, How to Buy the Right Boat at the Right Price. It's available at boatingthecarolinas.org. Stop in here at the marina and I'll give you a free copy, or you can go to boatingthecarolinas.org, use code word HALF to receive half off. All Marine Lake Wylie has been fortunate to be rated in the top 100 for the Boating Industry magazine, the top 100 dealers in America for the last 6 years running. Most recently, we've been rated number 15 out of 3,000 applications. We're very happy for that. What that means to you is that we're a reputable dealer that's been in business for a long time. We take care of our customers the right way. We educate them, and it's going to give you a great experience. There are no other dealers in the Charlotte area that have been in that top 100 dealer ranking since its inception. I also offer a VIP pre-owned watch list. If we don't have the pre-owned pontoon, deck boat, or cruiser that you're looking for right now, email me at matt@boatingthecarolinas.com. Tell me exactly what you're looking for, the age range, the price range, and the size range, and I'll put you on my VIP list and be on the lookout for the right boat for you and your family. Helm Marine Lake Wylie is a full-service boat dealership. We have 400 dry storage units. We have over 90 wet slips here at the marina. We have a 6-bay service area that's air-conditioned and heated, so the techs working on your boat in July and August have a comfortable environment. They always do a better job. We have 5 certified Mercury technicians, as well as 1 master certified technician, the highest rating you can get. The reason that's important is you know you're going to be taken care of after you purchase your new or pre-owned boat from us. We do many events here at Helm Marine Lake Wylie. We do a movie night, we do getaways, sometimes to the coast, to give people another boating experience, and we're all about promoting the boating lifestyle. So as a Helm Marine Lake Wylie client, you're invited to all of these events. We're the only 5-star dealer in the Carolinas, so you know you're going to be taken care of. Why are there no other 5-star certified dealers in the area? I'm not sure, but do you really want to find out? Hey, it's easy for me to say great things about our dealership, introduce you to my family, but it's another thing, what do actual real-life clients have to say about working with Helm Marine and Lake Wylie Marina? Take a look at all of the testimonials we have. There's several at the end of this video. You can also find over 100 of them at my desk, clients that I've worked with over the years, as well as on our website. Check out those testimonials and hear what clients have to say in their own words about their experience with me and Helm Marine Lake Wylie. Hey, thanks again for tuning in. If you're ready to own your first or your next boat, hey, give me a call. What's Lucy doing to you? Give me a call at 803-831-2101. My extension is 630, or you can email me at matt@boatingthecarolinas.com. Again, set up some time to come in and talk boats, and hopefully we can find a boat that makes sense for you and your family.